Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. I want to say Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel, who we endure all things for. Shalom to all the Akim, few sisters that believe on Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Until the bitter end, I say once again, Shalom. As you can see in the title, social media ban in Australia has become a thing towards the young teenagers that are in that country. And I find it very interesting that it's happening right now because considering we are in the information age and there's no excuse as to what's happening in terms of the information that's being bestowed upon people, it makes perfect sense why this kind of thing would happen. And not only that would happen, but it would happen in other countries as well going on, because we understand that before anything happens in Babylon the Great, which is the United States of America, things have to happen in other countries first. Then it happens to escalate in a downward spiral towards those of us who happen to be inhabiting in Babylon the Great, aka the United States of America. So the title reads in CNN, Australia is banning young teens from social media. Could it happen in the US? Absolutely. Why not? It should happen in the United States. Well, these kids are just bugged out their minds. They bugged down. All they care about is being on social media. The kids are brain rot. All they do is nonstop scrolling on their phones with some ridiculous content creators saying some really outlandish stuff that makes no sense. They say things that are so like incoherent and not very articulate, where you can't even understand what the average young kid says nowadays, because it's all that brain rot. It's all that the heat that's permeating from the screens of phones, computers, laptops. Even your own television screen is responsible for the brain rot and the degradation of the young kids' minds. Generation Z and Generation Alpha are feeling the effects of what it's like to be living and to be born in the internet age, where it's more at an elevated rate. But this is nothing. Let me keep reading in the article. It says, Australia has become the first country to ban children under 16 from using major social media platforms. Other jurisdictions will be watching to see how it plays out. So it's children under 16 years old that are affected by this. So they can't go on TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Facebook. Many social media platforms are just they just can't use them at all. You best believe these kids are pissed off. They're mad. Nowadays, the average kid is just on their phone 24/7. They don't want to do nothing else. They don't even want to play outside and touch some grass at a park and do some various activities that normal little kids will be doing. But nowadays, it's all about being inside and staring at your screen on your phone and not learning a goddamn thing, but thinking that what you're learning or what you're watching online is something so extravagant and marvelous, which we all know is folly and is just degradation of the mind and spirit. Shalom to Tawad Judah, Yawanathan, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Barakatham, brothers. A world first. This is first class. This is first class. A world first ban on major social media platforms for children under the age of 16 goes into effect in Australia on Wednesday. And regulators, parents, and teenagers around the globe are watching closely to see how it plays out. The law comes after years of concerns that social media platforms can cause addiction, which I just said, body image issues, and another thing, depression, and other mental health issues for teens, as well as potentially exposing them to bullying or sexual exploitation. First of all, why are all these problems happening on the internet for these young kids? Addiction, body image issues, depression, and other mental health issues. Why are kids having mental health issues to begin with? We're talking about kids between the ages of 8 to 17. They're young, they're vibrant, they're ready to tackle the day. How are they having mental health issues? What the hell is that? Growing up, I know for myself, Akim, few sisters, we didn't grow up talking about some mental health issues. Like, what? That's something adults have to deal with. It just doesn't make sense. You're a kid, you're vibrant, you're ready to tackle the day, and you're talking about having mental health issues? Are you serious? You're too young for that. No, it's ridiculous. But this is the system that our wicked, evil twin brother Esau created for everybody because he is the ruler and the God of this world. He's the one that allows these things to happen on a day-to-day basis. 2 Australian teens have already sued to block the law, claiming it violates their rights to political expression, and other critics have raised free speech and privacy concerns. Still, Denmark and Malaysia are similarly planning to ban young teens from social media. You see what I just said? Denmark and Malaysia. And then it's going to slowly but surely trickle down to Babylon the Great. Shalom to brother Angel Padilla, Kabak Shana, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Barakatah, brother. In the United States, some lawmakers and political leaders have also advocated for more restrictive policies, which begs the question, could a social media ban for young teens happen here? Of course it can happen. It's always a little question that needs to be propagated. Could this happen in the United States? Absolutely, it can happen, and it's going to happen. It's Bible prophecy, buddy. The devil's going to come down having great wrath. And first thing he has to do is start with the internet, because everybody and their mom and their family is on the internet. Everyone. So the devil has to start out with restricting internet access and potentially removing certain information from being used and being distributed all throughout the internet. And we know that's happening right now. They're restricting a lot of information. When you go on Google or when you use ChatGPT, all these various different devices, best believe that there's certain information that you can't access. And only a select few can access that. And I'm talking about those on the left-hand side of the elites. Let me keep reading. This is a hugely important test case, said Michael Posner, director of the NYU Stern Center for Business and Human Rights. If it succeeds, then I think a number of states, a number of governments are going to say, wow, look what they did in Australia. Of course. This is how the devil operates. He doesn't like to do things in an instantaneous manner. It's more so, I want to see how the people react. Then at some point, I'm going to implement the policy of whatever it is or the agenda that I have in mind towards the people that are being controlled. So we're not ignorant to Satan's devices. We know how the devil operates, especially those of us who happen to be in the circumcision. Amos 8 and 11. Oh, yeah, that's it. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, because there is going to be a famine in the land. Especially here in Babylon the Great, because you people eat way too much food. You're very gluttonous. You just want to gorge in a ton of food, pounds upon pounds of food. You people are very gluttonous, and you're just out of shape, man. That's the average Babylonian for you guys, man. That I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh. And that's coming sooner rather than later, man, because we're measuring the time diligently. This is just one of many things that's going on throughout the four corners of the earth. Australia has officially banned young teens that are below the age of 16 from accessing social media sites. That's huge. That's not a small thing. That's like a very big thing. And I'm surprised Most people are not even talking about it like that, because this is the devil doing what he does best. Through gradualism, he will slowly but surely implement things that he wants it to happen to a given population. Verse 12, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it. And the Wadi Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, that this is going to happen in real time. The ban, not just for the internet, but for the servants of the Lord that are doing the work of the Lord, are going to be prohibited from entering the streets of Babylon the Great and wherever they may be residing in this world, because they've been doing this work for so long and the people have seen them. I'm pretty sure, I would say just about everybody has seen the servants of the Lord, especially our people, the Israelites, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Y'all have no excuse anymore. The servants are everywhere on the internet. Whether they are false prophets or not, they're there. And they have the 12 tribes chart. So with that in mind, now is the time to gear up and get serious, because the times are looking worse for this current world. But those of us who believe and have hope in the Lord, we have nothing to worry about. The world has everything to worry about. They got problems. We don't got no problems. Yeah, we got ailments and things of that nature, but that's nothing compared to the terrible, dreadful day of the Lord that's going to come upon this earth, man. And it's not a joke, because judgment is always going out every single day, no matter what. Whether we hear about it or not, judgment is being rendered out. And this is just one of many slow judgments Australia banned on teens from using social media. Let me keep reading on. The Australia, Shalom to Hanunya, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Barakatah, brother. Shalom. Khan Aki, I'm surprised the people over there in Australia are not protesting about the situation. Everybody should be going crazy over there in Australia. The only people, or really the only site that I've seen online that is protesting against the social media ban is the site Reddit. They're suing Australia for it. And that's big. But even in that, it's like why are you removing or restricting people from looking at certain things online? Now, granted, of course, if you have kids, of course you definitely don't want them watching some bugged out stuff, some folly, some madness. But even in that, it's like who cares? You know what I mean? As a parent, you're supposed to be responsible for what your kids watch. I don't have kids, but I know I'll be on top of my kid for stuff like that. What's the Australia social media ban? Psalms 36:7. How excellent is thy loving kindness, O Yahweh. Therefore the children of men put their trust under the shadow of thy wings. And the only people that are going to receive salvation and be protected from what's to come in the near future are those under the Psalms 36:7 and Psalms 91 covering, under the wings of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. Nobody else. That's the end all be all. We all know that. The scriptures keeps making it clear that that's the only way you're going to be saved from what's to come, man. And it's going to be a terrible sight to be alive when shit hits the fan. And things are only going to escalate more and more in terms of restrictions, the draconian laws that are being implemented in a gradual manner. Gear up, because Revelation 12:12 already made it clear that the devil is going to come down having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And best believe that the wicked know that their time is almost up. They know it, we know it. And that's a very great thing, because we're tired of looking at you evil degenerates that go throughout Babylon the Great and throughout the four corners of the earth, thinking that everything's lolly and candy cakes and lollipops and butter cakes and honey buns. All these nasty foods that you people eat, full of high fructose corn syrup, high sugar, high fat. A bunch of degenerates that are everywhere. But the thing about it is, too, I'm going to say this. Everybody's in their lot. Everybody is in their lot. You are where you are because the Lord got you there. That's why I don't really like judge people like that. I don't know about you, Akim, few sisters. I don't really judge people like that. I understand that everybody is in their lot. You in your lot, I'm in my lot. So if there's a bug out on the street, if somebody doesn't want to understand the truth, that's what they're supposed to be. And that's okay. Oh, you want to be an idolater, an adulterer, a sodomite? All right. That's all right, but only the elect are going to change, and nobody else is going to change. That's a fact. That's a fucking fact. I know that for certain. Only the elect is going to change. Nobody else is going to change. And only a very small population of Israelites are going to be saved from what's to come. So it's all good at the end of the day. We understand that. Once people come to the conclusion and understanding, it will make things that much easier, hasting and waiting for the kingdom. Exactly, bro. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's it right there. And the thing is, we're actually trying to restore order on this earth. But let me not digress. Let me continue on with this article. I'm not going to take too long, Akim. This was meant to be short. Let me see. If there's any more meat on this bone. Let me get to the point right here. Could a teen social media ban happen in the United States? While none go as far as Australia's ban, a growing number of U.S. states have passed restrictions on teens' access to social media or other internet services. Nebraska's governor, for example, signed a bill into law this year that requires social media platforms to verify users' ages and get parental consent before minors can create accounts. The law goes into effect in July 2026. Well, there you go. That's slowly gradualism in Nebraska, starting right there. Utah, Texas, and Louisiana passed laws this year requiring App Store operators to verify users' ages and obtain parental consent for new downloads and updates. Social media companies, including Meta, have advocated for that policy because it centralizes responsibility for age verification with the app stores. However, Google and Apple argue that it requires them to collect too much information from adult users. So either way, it's just intrusion upon people's information. Yo, this devil got so much of a grip on people, he still is not satisfied with knowing what's going on, like with your life. He needs to know every intricate detail about you. The Supreme Court also upheld a Texas law that requires age verification for pornographic websites. The move suggested that the court isn't necessarily opposed to some online age restrictions, despite a legal challenge from the adult industry that claimed it violated the Constitution because it limited the ability of adults to access protected speech. And let me see if there's anything else. But yeah, man, that's the gist of this article. Bans are happening in Australia. It's going to happen in the United States. Ain't no stopping prophecy. There's no stopping what's happening on this earth. The Lord is in control of everything that's going on this earth. And that's just one aspect of what's to come. More social media bans, more restrictions upon the people. Because y'all forgot that the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, exists. Normally, that would be a conservative far-right status move about social media ban. Yeah. They're just a bunch of Christians on the far right who claim to love God and believe in God, but we already understand that their God is Shaitan, so they're only doing the work of Shaitan, even though they think they're on the right side of history. And we all know that they don't believe in the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son like we do. And that's just for another video, another time about Christians. But other than that, I'm going to close out right there. I want to say, call Halayim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and say the water to you brothers that tuned in, put in information. Once again,